Buckle up. Thank you for listening to Sarabian and Lawhorns, Musicians and Beyond, where we bring you the backstage info on the life, lyrics, and long journeys of the music industry. Today's episode is brought to you in honor of the Bork Family Foundation. Ray Bork, the Hall of Fame inductee, also known as the Big 7-7, supports a variety of different charitable and educational endeavors. For more info and donation information, go to borkfamilyfoundation.org. Today I have a co-host guest, Jordan Nobrega. Mark is unable to be in here today, so welcome, Jordan.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming in. We have a great show coming up. We have Rachel Sumner. Yep. And it's amazing things that this girl has done. And she has some big announcements of things that are right around the corner. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Rachel. Rachel, how you doing?
Hello, I am fantastic. How are you?
We are great, and thank you for coming in to sit with us at Musicians and Beyond with Jordan and I. You have a lot going on lately. Let's hear a little bit about you. How did you get into music, and what was your inspiration?
Certainly. My mom has been a huge music fan since the very beginning. I mean, she told me she used to put headphones up to her baby bump while I was in there. So music has been ingrained in my family for a long time. Nobody performed until I came along. But, my mom always had Jackson Browne on and the Eagles, and my dad always had Queen on, and it was just, I grew up singing along to musicals in the car. Somewhere along the way, I picked up the flute in elementary school, even though I wanted to play the trumpet, but my mom said that was too loud, so I went to the flute, and I studied the flute through high school, and that's what I went to college for originally. So I went to Utah State University to study performance, and then I really wanted to come out to Boston because it just was a vibrant scene, and Berklee College of Music was here, and they had a film scoring program, which I was especially keen on participating in. So I came to Berklee after 1 year in Utah, and I studied composition and film scoring. I didn't play guitar at all until about halfway through when I discovered the American Roots program at Berklee, which has fostered a ton of really incredible and influential musicians. I was really good friends with Molly Tuttle, who is now making a big splash in Nashville and all over, really. She's an incredible guitarist, and I basically learned how to play guitar from her and my other friends, and they taught me chords. They showed me Hazel and Alice and a lot of other older roots musicians like Bill Monroe, and I was just completely enchanted by that, and that's how I came to acoustic music.
Wow, you've really done a good job. You made it far, and you get a lot of good news to share with us. And you mentioned that you play the guitar and the flute. Do you play anything else?
I picked up banjo, so I do clawhammer, old-time style banjo, and I play clarinet a little bit, enough to record with it. I've done some recording and arranging for woodwinds, I'm trying to whistle, but I'm not very good at that.
keep trying. And obviously, you're a singer and a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I looked at your Instagram beforehand. I saw your cover art was released today. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, so could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the cover art is for my debut solo album called Rachel Sumner and Traveling Light, and the cover art was done by Betsy Heron. She lives up in New Hampshire and is a great acoustic musician herself, but she designed this art, and there are symbols within it that represent all of the songs on the record. It's a 9-track album that will be coming out in August 5th.
Awesome.
Excellent. We're looking forward to seeing that come out.
Yeah, definitely.
If someone wants to buy some of your music, how would they go about doing that?
RachelSumnerMusic.com. You can find links to pretty much everything there, or you can come to a show. The shows are listed on my website as well. I'm going to be selling the record early at all of my shows coming up. I have the CDs, so that'll be a extra incentive for you to come out and see the band live, because you can walk away with an album before anybody else gets it.
Wonderful. Save a couple for me and Jordan, because we listened to your songs on the way in here, and we were nothing but impressed. It was very good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And when is that release date for everyone?
August 5th.
Awesome.
And I will have vinyl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Cool. Yeah, that's coming back. Vinyl's cool.
People have seemed very interested in having it, so I'm excited that this time around we've got it.
Definitely.
Great. What else do you do besides music? Do you have any other hobbies?
I love to swim. I like to do sound. I mean, this is related to music, but my day job, quote unquote, is doing live sound for Club Passim. So I performance manage. So when acts come in, I do pretty much everything, set up the stage, get the sound going, and pay them out. And I also run the School of Music for Club Passim. So not so much a hobby, but a job. But I do really love what I do. So
it's nice when you can do something that you love and get paid at it also.
Oh my gosh,
Absolutely.
yes. Yeah.
It's a win-win for you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, definitely. And I've also noticed that you've been traveling and doing shows. I saw that you have a few dates coming up. Where will you be in upcoming shows?
Yeah, the big one is Club Passim, June 4th. I'm going to be playing with my band Traveling Light. It's a string band, and it's going to be an expanded version. We're going to have pedal steel and fiddle and upright bass, and there will be some banjo. We're going to play through the upcoming record all the way through and have a little party with it. So that I'm very excited. And we're going all the way down to Nashville, New York, Asheville. We're getting all the vills. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. So it's really exciting that we're getting out there.
That's really cool. Yeah, you're doing the whole circuit.
Yeah, definitely. Nashville's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
I love Nashville.
You've been in music, and a lot of things happen in music, good and bad. What has been the most exciting thing that has happened to you?
I think it's winning the Lennon Award for my song Radium Girls. I mean, I never expected to get this far in a songwriting competition. I've entered this one particular, the John Lennon songwriting competition, a couple times, and I kind of forgot about it. It's one of those things where you just enter a whole bunch of contests and, you know, let the chips fall however they may. And this time it was just really exciting to find out that I had won the grand prize, and that I went on to the Lennon Award part, and that I won the Lennon Award.
Wow, that's amazing. And this award has been going on since 1997. Yoko Ono and Lennon started this in honor of her late husband, John Lennon. And the judges in it are huge names. I mean, we have Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Mm-hmm. You have Sheila E., who was in Prince, another legend. Jimmy Cliff, Lita Ford, a founding member from the Grateful Dead, Bob Weir. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's some crazy names that you're involved with. That's really humbling.
Yeah, just knowing that they're going to listen to my song is mind-blowing, honestly.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And what do you get out of this besides publicity and all of this? Is there any kind of prize?
Yes. So for the grand prize that I've already won, I got a bunch of recording equipment, microphone, headphones, new interface, 2 guitars, a keyboard. It's just amazing stuff, mixing speakers. And if I win Song of the Year, then I get $20,000, which is life-changing.
Wow. 20,000. So 10,000 for you and 10,000 for us for putting you over the edge because of all of these listeners on Musicians and Beyond. This is great. This is the quickest money we've ever made, Jordan.
Yeah, no.
I love it. We should do this more often.
We should.
Yes. Thank you. No, congratulations on that. I have a good feeling about it. And
thank you.
Not if, but when you win the $20,000.
Everybody listening, cross your fingers and your toes.
Yeah. Is it up to the listeners to help vote for this, or is it out of the hands of the listeners?
Right now, it's out of the hands of the listeners. The Lennon Award was a public voting situation where everybody voted in the month of April, and I was so amazed to see the community rally around my song. There were people who told me, my mom set timer on her phone every day, so like remember to cast a vote for you, and throughout the entire month. So I just was really touched by that.
That's cool. So again, we're here with Rachel Sumner. She is a folk singer, songwriter, flutist, very talented all around. So your big song was Radium Girls, and I think that it's probably a good time. We'll play that right now.
In the days when Rosie beckoned girls to join assembly lines, a mixture simply named on dark made wristwatch faces shine, and women with star-spangled hearts sat faithfully in rows, bent to help the boys entrenched stave off those dark shadows. Day by day they all were tasked to paint 200 dials with brushes made of camel hair and radium dust and vials. The numbers on the clocks were painted dainty, slim and slight, so the girls were taught to use their lips to point the bristles tight. The taste was a little foul, but no one really seemed to mind. The pay was more than 3 times what a girl back then could find. Radium was championed, a newfound fount of youth, and the few who knew the dangers kept the public from the truth. For a time each painter prospered, though the work they did was tough, and were delighted when they'd clock out covered in the magic stuff. They'd decorate their drabbest dresses, paint skins so they'd sparkle. No earthly sight quite like a glowing angel in the darkness. Even lights that shine the brightest will eventually dim, but you never do expect it, just as someone's life begins. As each timepiece passed through nimble fingers, painters dreamed and planned, though they had in fact so very little time left on their hands. Soon these young girls ached as if they'd aged for 80 years, and radiating pain turned into radiating fear. Doctors did their best to treat an unknown malady, but no remedy could keep those bodies from unraveling. So aching turned to limping, and sore mouths began to bleed, and jaws began to break, and smiles gave way to crumbling teeth. Families became buried beneath doctor bills and loans, and grief like radium began to settle in their bones. To have so many sick at once seemed no coincidence, but the company confronted had maintained its innocence. Yet they had secretly received results that told a different story, and they knew despite their lies that they were liable for the suffering. Those who had enlisted ladies to leave luminescent marks were now working overtime to keep them in the dark. Not a single protocol was changed at all, though there was danger, and ailing workers failing fast were easily exchanged for healthy younger women, unsuspecting and naive, who craved to carve their own piece of the great crush those stone hearts fortified by corporate greed. Even when the women's own hearts, one by one, had ceased to beat. Curialism. I wish that I could tell you that somebody'd found a cure, or that when the court case first came round, the crime was answered for. These women walked among the living, having one foot in the grave. Still they used what fight that they had left, so others could be saved. To this day no one can say how many lives were lost. Had they been sooner taken seriously, it might have cut the cost. You may claim women have been long since elevated in this world, but how can that be? Our ashes still speak louder than our words.
Okay, so Rachel, that was Radium Girls. And could you tell us a little bit about the lyrics to it and your songwriting process, how you came up with it? Did you come up with the music first and then put the words to it? I think people listening just don't know how something like this is put together, and there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. So this was kind of peculiar for me in the way that the lyrics came first. And the idea of it, I had a very clear idea of what I wanted this song to be. I've been a long fan of English ballads, old English ballads and Appalachian ballads. And oftentimes there are these very gruesome murder ballads that happen, you find in these old folk songs. And really what those were, it's not just like gruesomeness for the sake of being gross, but it served as a warning for people. It was a true story that would get bottled up into a song and passed down through the generations. And now we're so far removed from those original stories that it's kind of hard to say exactly what murder ballad is about what murder, but I've always been interested in the functionality of ballads, and so I wanted to try my hand at writing a ballad. And so I've had this idea for a long time, and I just didn't know what to write it about. And it wasn't until I learned about the Radium Girls in 2019 that I knew I wanted to write a ballad about them. I was listening to a song by my favorite all-time songwriter, Joanna Newsom, and at the very end of this song, Time as a Symptom, she has this kind of stream of consciousness, Joycean section where she's saying words that seemingly don't have any connection with each other. And one of those words was undarked. And so I was digging pretty deep within the song, and I didn't know what undarked was, so I looked it up. And it turned out to be the name of this mixture that people used in the early 1900s to paint watch face dials so that they would glow in the dark. Originally, it was done for the men in the trenches in World War I, so that they didn't have to strike a match and give away their position, but they could stay synchronized with the rest of the army. And it turned into a really big fad. People were obsessed with this glow-in-the-dark paint, but it had radium in it. And nobody really knew, the public wasn't aware of how dangerous radium was because it was pretty new at the time. And so factories were making so much money. They were paying these women. They wanted women who had small hands who could not waste any paint on the small watch faces. And they were making tons of money doing this, and they didn't give the women any protective gear at all. In fact, they told women to lip dip paint, so they were putting the paintbrush in their mouth. Horrifying story. And then when confronted, they denied it. They said that, they weren't in the wrong. Although their scientists up in the lab, the people making it, they had lead-lined everything. They were protecting them. And they, in fact, were saying that the women were lying and that they had syphilis and lots of really awful things. So I was horrified that I didn't know about this story. I wasn't taught it in school. I hadn't heard it come up in any World War I or World War II movies, just total absence of the story. And that made me mad. And that's when I knew that this was the story that I was going to turn into a ballad. So I went about writing it. I started with the last line first. You may say women have been long since elevated in this world, but how can that be? Our ashes still speak louder than our words. That line, our ashes still speak louder than our words, came first because I could see how this story of the Radium Girls kind of mirrors some stories that happen currently. How, women aren't believed until it's too late. And the ashes word, especially in the song, is important because the way that they were able to prove that these women were poisoned by radium was they had to exhume a woman who had died earlier from suspected radium poisoning and disintegrate her bones so that they could actually find the radium and detect the radium in it. So that's how they proved it. They literally had to prove it with her ashes instead of her words. So
That's amazing. I didn't know that story, I'll tell you that.
I did, but I didn't learn from school, just like you said, and it should be something that we know more about in school. The song's beautiful. I did hear it, and the lyrics are it's such a good story to tell, and the way you told it was amazing, but it's so tragic, and it's so upsetting to hear about. But I know you have had many other songs come out as well, such as Hunting Doves, which is another beautiful song. And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Ooh, hopefully
Asking the deep ones.
I want to be doing what I'm doing, but
Yeah.
I just want to do it hopefully to more ears. I want more people to hear what I'm doing. I want to be recording. I want to even be producing. I like to produce my own music, and I would love to produce for other people. There aren't many female producers in the industry, so that is very intriguing to me. It's something that I want to follow and do more of. But Anais Mitchell is one of my other favorite songwriters, and she has it all. I love her career because she is a folk singer, and then she wrote a Broadway musical that won 8 Tony Awards, and then she did a project that was all about old English folk ballads. So she just does whatever she wants. She follows her muse, and that's what I want to be doing in 10 years.
So you want to do it for the love of it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Not the money.
Correct.
Love that.
Okay, so what's interesting is all the guests that we've had on here, if we've asked them the question directly or just chatting, all of them say the same exact thing. They're not in it. They're not expecting to make $1 million at it. It's 1 in a million, but someone is going to. But they do it for the love of the music and getting on stage and seeing people say the same words you are. They know your songs. Have people come up to them and say, I listened to your song and it really resonated with me because of an incident that happened. And it's really cool to have that power that you have and have people suck that in, and you're making a difference to them. And it's really so weird that every musician here so far has come back to the same thing. They said, in the beginning they want to be a rock star, and as they grew as human beings and figuring things out, knowing what they love, staying with their passion, that's why they do it. So that's pretty cool. You're young yourself and you already have that vision for yourself. So that's great.
I just want to be what some other musicians have been to me throughout my life. They got me through some pretty tough moments in my childhood and throughout my entire life. Every horrible moment was made better by a song of some sort. And I want to write the songs that for when I want to hear out in the world, but I want to write songs that will resonate with other people and hopefully help them through those tough times. And I think we need that now more than ever. The times are very tough.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have the knack for it for sure. Like Jordan said, we listened to it on the way in here, a couple of
Yes.
tracks, and we were really taken back on it. We were really touched. It's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Hunting Doves came out in January. I'd love to hear a little bit more on the backstory about that song.
Sure. It's a song that I started writing like 7 years ago and just never finished. The melody came first. That's how I probably would describe the majority of my songs. The melody will come first, or a line will come. And I sometimes spend a lot of time sitting with it and just thinking about it and waiting for the right idea to come up that matches the tone of the music. So during the pandemic, I started writing this other piece of music, and I realized that these two melodies, one that was written 7 years ago and one that was written in 2020, were part of the same song. And so I put them together, and then the words started coming out. They're like, I think I have like 7 different versions of this song with different lyrics. But I was able to kind of find guiding lyrics from Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce. At the very end of it, there are some kind of nonsensical words. Actually, it's also mentioned in the Time as a Symptom, Joanna Newsom song that I got the idea for Radium Girls, where James Joyce says, a way, a lone, a last, a loved, a long. And so I took those and I realized each one is a verse, and I used those as guiding posts, and I wrote around, and this story of heartbreak kind of emerged from it. And more importantly, it's a story about moving on, like finding that moment when you realize you have to move forward without somebody. And so that was kind of the background of that song, and I was really happy when I was finally able to finish it.
Yeah, definitely. And I was just, me being a musician as well, I'd like you to let me know, like, what would you say for an aspiring musician is, the right steps to take? What should they be doing?
Yeah, for an aspiring musician, like a writer, just keep writing. Write what you know. Write the stories around you. And don't stop. Like, just keep that pen moving. You can always edit. I think editing is the songwriter's greatest tool, and you can sculpt it and, take your time. It doesn't need to be a 100% finished product right away,
Definitely. I'm the type of person that just scraps everything. If I have one thing I don't like, I just toss it.
Oh yeah.
Completely.
Save everything. Like, keep an ongoing notes app thing, a little file where you just put all of the verses that you nixed, just put them all in there, dump it in there, and then go back from time to time and revisit those, because I bet you there are some good ideas worth saving in there.
Should have saved them.
Yeah, Jordan's quite a singer herself. We had a couple of callbacks on The Voice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's been a fun road.
That's incredible.
She's in a couple of movies.
Really?
Yeah.
In one fairly big one that's coming out that can you?
I can't yet. Unfortunately, I know. I wish.
Double Secret Squirrel.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I
I'm
hope
super
that I'll get
excited.
to know what it is soon.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, you will. We'll keep you in.
We will keep you in the loop.
So part of Musicians and Beyond is networking. Like we mentioned before, Francois Simard, great musician, does a lot of booking. Reach out to him. All of these different people that are on have something else to offer. Some might be in your realm and some might not, but we have all genres on Musicians and Beyond. We talk with tour managers. We talk with producers. We talk with songwriters, singers, some that do all of them, some that are hoping to do something. So, we have some people coming on that have sold literally about, I think last I looked was 11 million albums.
Wow.
Crazy.
So, we have good names coming up.
Do.
With music, like any job, I would assume there's a lot of things that go your way, a lot that don't, and a lot of things that you're like, this is great, and other ones, I want to hang up the guitar.
Yeah.
What are a lot of the positives and negatives about being a musician?
Yeah. Well, I think the number one positive thing for me is connecting with people, whether that's other musicians, people in my band, people who host us as we tour down. We've been really lucky to have really nice fans and friends put us up, to connecting to people who come to shows. One of my favorite parts of a show is the meet and greet afterward. I love talking to people and hearing what they have to say, finding out where they're from. So that's definitely one of the highlights. I love to meet new folks. One of the sort of cons of it, the music industry, as an industry, is I'm always on my email and social media, and like way more than I want to be.
Yeah.
I would rather focus on the music part, the writing, the practicing, the listening, but there is a lot of administrative work to it, especially if you're an independent artist who doesn't have label support or booking agent. Currently right now, I don't have a manager or booking agent or label. So I'm doing everything on my own, which I've kind of figured out systems to make it happen, but it is exhausting.
Definitely is. And I can relate with the whole social media thing. And also, where can we find you on social media?
Yeah. At RTSUMNER, at RT Sumner, is my handle on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, you can find Rachel Sumner Music. YouTube, I post a lot of videos generally. There is another Rachel Sumner artist. She's a children's singer. And so that is not me. She seems really cool, though. She makes like instruments out of kitchenware.
Oh,
like
that's really cool. Yeah.
Turkey baster, whistle. It's really fun. I've gone down a Rachel Sumner, the children's artist wormhole.
It's like the guys you see when you come out of the Boston Garden that are playing the old pickle jars and the, whatever. I mean, some of them, the talents are incredible.
She seems incredible, and I have now started getting people from Nashville, because she lives in Nashville. People from Nashville now email me, and they're like, "Do you still do children's music? We would love to have you back. Like, you were so great." So I'm really happy she's living her best life.
That's
Definitely,
awesome.
yeah.
Maybe you should hook up with her. at some point. I'm sure she gets emails on your behalf.
Yes, definitely.
As well.
We really ought to team up like that.
Yeah,
It might be fate.
absolutely.
That's cool. If you were to meet anyone, I like asking this question because it's multi-layered. If you were to meet any famous musician, dead or alive, and co-write, play, get on stage with, who do you think it would be?
I think I'd have to go with Joanna Newsom. She's my queen, my songwriting queen. She's incredible. I would be very intimidated to meet her, but her lyric writing is just out of this world. She's on another level, and the music that she makes is wild, and she plays the harp. And so I think it would just be really fun to collaborate with her. That's the ultimate dream.
Well, you never know what could happen when, with social media and people posting this. You may come across someone that knows her or is related or whatever, and, the tagging and all that. So you never know. Hopefully, if you're listening, Rachel Sumner, she's ready to
That's
go
the
with
other dream. She's not on social media at all, which is like, I'm like, yes, you go. And she's able to maintain a very devout following. So that also is the dream. But if you know Joanna Newsom, anybody,
Hit her up.
Please let me know.
I mean, you're not just any run-of-the-mill musician. You've really made a name for yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Even before this, the Lennon Award.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've done well.
So also, we spoke a little bit before, and I know you grew up in California. When did you leave California?
I left about a decade ago.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've been in Massachusetts for the last 10 years.
So did you do school there and everything? Like, were you doing music there?
Yeah, I was in like community orchestras.
Oh, awesome.
I was more doing that. I was the assistant drum major of my marching band. So I was very into marching band and all that good stuff. But I didn't really start playing out until I came to Massachusetts. And that's when I started actually like in earnest playing shows and folk music on stages by myself. I was very nervous in California. I had like stage fright to the max. But yeah, somehow Massachusetts got that out of me.
I was going to say, is there anything that changed that? Like, if you had stage fright before, is there anything that you worked on to help you with that?
I just kept getting up there.
Yeah.
Even though my body was like, don't do it. I fought the urge and I just kept doing it until it became familiar and I knew that, okay, everything's going to be okay. You know, once you get past that, it becomes easier.
Yeah.
Well, again, you are listening to Musicians and Beyond with Sarabian and Lawhorn, minus Lawhorn. We are going to dub in No Brega. Jordan, thank you for coming in last minute.
Thank you.
Again, how do we get in touch with you, find all your information, download your music? Can we just tell everyone one more time?
RachelSumnerMusic.com is where you can find everything, all of my social media links and how to download. We have a pre-order on for the new record that's coming out. There's a limited edition vinyl. So if you're interested in that, or if you want to just make sure that I reserve your copy of a CD or a digital copy, you can find all of that information on my website, RachelSumnerMusic.com.
Awesome. Rachel Sumner, thank you for taking time out of your day. You literally came here right from another gig.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you flying in here and doing this with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great. And with that, I just want to say thank you for being our friend.
Thank you for being my friend.